So I'm going to start with a module that kind of it's more of a one-on-one module. It outlines the 4 E's of social success. And the reason I think this is important is because a lot of marketers have a certain way or a certain path that they choose when they enter the social space, when they set up a fan page, when they set up a Twitter account. And the story usually goes like this. They'll set up a page and it's sitting there looking pretty, looking really blank, and the immediate thing that they think is, well, this page is blank. I need fans. I need someone to get my message out to. I need friends. I need followers. So immediately what we do is we click that little button that says bother all your friends, and we send them all a message. We don't really discriminate. We send it to everyone because we want as many fans as possible, and we add all of our friends. What usually happens is usually for about a week we get what I call courtesy engagement. Because they're your friends, because they like you, they'll tend to like your posts, or they'll tend to leave you a comment. But eventually, as all courtesy does, it'll end, and nothing happens on your page. You kind of end up posting to yourself. And when that happens, you say, I have some friends here. I need more fans. And then you realize that the industry is all about engagement, which we're going to talk about a lot today. What does that word really mean? You say, well, we need engagement. If for some reason as marketers we feel that engagement means things like tagging people in our ads or sending messages directly to the inbox of people that we know on Facebook, and Facebook is kind of guarded against that. You can't send direct messages anymore from the fan page. They go to an update box, and you can only tag people that you're specifically friends with. But the end result is usually the same. Kind of nothing happens. Your page isn't really working for you. You're not getting leads from it. And at the end of the day, usually a month or two into it, you end up saying that social media doesn't work for me or doesn't work for my business. It's something that's maybe for those young kids, or maybe it's for some of those other types of companies. And it's really unfortunate because social media can work for a lot of companies. And I want to kind of talk about something that we've created called the 4 E's of social success, because what we usually do, we found, is 100% backwards in terms of engaging with people. So I want to go over these 4 E's with you, and hopefully it'll give you an idea of the process that you should go through in determining how you should interact, choosing a platform, and engaging with your fans. So the first E is evaluation. I find a lot of times that as small businesses, we know who our customer is offline. But for some reason, when we get on the internet and we hear that Facebook has 500 million people, Twitter is approaching or across 200 million, LinkedIn just hit 80, that every single one of those people needs to be on our list. Every single one of those people needs to hear our message. The most important step in evaluation is, A, knowing who your customer is. More importantly, knowing where your customer is. Is it smart to wade through 500 million people on Facebook when you can find another site where every single person on it is your customer? I give the example of Mark deals in real estate a lot. And we had a friend of his come to us talking about he wanted to get involved in social media. And he's like, I'm going to start a Facebook page. And we ended up actually saying, wait, hold on. Have you heard of realestateinvestor.com? It's a community with about 50,000 real estate investors on it every day, 24/7. So why would you bother your friends and family, or why would you fight harder to get in touch with real estate investors if there are 50,000 of them waiting right here in one place? And that's what I mean about evaluation. Why are you on this platform? Is it just a market? Is that kind of the culture of the platform? I think a lot of times we forget that with these being social platforms, they already have a way of doing business. If you look at Facebook, we like to say Facebook is really similar to a high school hallway. If it's popular in a high school hallway, it's popular on Facebook. So it's pictures, it's video, it's gossip. So if you have a very serious business, a lot of times, unless you specifically target your market, your message is going to fall on deaf ears, right? Twitter is more text friendly because they've been conditioned to read text. But I don't know why companies keep sharing blogs over and over again on their Facebook page, because it's been proven that people hate reading, especially the Facebook community, more than anything. But if you can show them a pretty picture, if you can get them involved in media, these things get shared much more. So knowing the culture of the platform and also knowing who your client is will help you. And that's kind of the most important step before you even start a social campaign. Who am I going after and why am I here? And is this platform, does it match with the message that I'm really trying to send, or the message that I have to give to my clientele? So the first E is evaluation. The second is engagement, and it is the most misused word. in this entire industry. Engagement does not mean yell over everyone else in the room. It doesn't mean, that you have to even convince or trick people into buying your product, or it doesn't mean that you have to push a message on anyone. Engagement is as simple as understanding that you can't make anyone do anything, and also understanding that they're not here for you. And I know it's tough as marketers, like our whole job in life is to get someone to buy something that they're not really thinking about. But if we acknowledge that they're not here for them, we kind of turn our way of thinking. So when I talk about engagement, and when Mark and I talk to clients, we say instead of looking at social media like the old school marketing of radio and TV, we choose to look at it more like a conference or a seminar. When you go to a conference, there's no way you would walk up to the first person you see and tell them that, you're selling bicycles 50% off on Tuesday. He would look at you like you were a lunatic. But for some reason, why are you laughing at me? On some reason, on these platforms, we think this is the best thing to do. We don't know these people. They don't know anything about us, but we just figure that we have a great deal and they're going to buy it. But when you go to a conference, you understand that you may not make a deal that day, but the connections that you make with the people there could lead to 100 deals. And if you take that and adopt that point of view in the social space, you'll be very successful. So that's what I'm going to say for now on engagement. Once you've done that, once you've got someone's attention and actually understand that they're not here for you, and you take more of a centered approach, figuring out what they want and learning about them, the third step is education or entertainment. I think we need to understand as marketers that we could be resources all we want, but if we're not giving people the information they want, it doesn't matter if we give them the information they need. And I like to kind of compare it to trying to get the attention of a child. If you've ever tried to get a child to do something, do a chore, or to, eat a vegetable that they hated, you have to lead in with something that they want, and then all of a sudden you'll get their attention, and then they may pay attention to you giving them something they need. So I see a lot of fan pages especially, and we're going to talk about those a lot today, that are offering amazing content. But the problem is no one cares, and they never stop to ask what the want was. And I'll even use our own example. We meet a lot of businesses that want fans. And we just released a blog on Friday that kind of talked about why that's not the best thing or the main thing you should focus on. But if we don't address that they want fans, and sometimes we kind of tell them where to get them. Here's how you get fans. Once we fill that need, then they'll start to listen to us. And then they'll say, oh, well, what else do you have? And then we can properly educate them. We can't push our education down the throats of our clients. We have to fill their needs first, and then we can address their wants. So education, figure out something that they want to know. And it could be something that's completely irrelevant to your business. But if you find something you want that they want to know, you can get their attention. And then with entertainment, we have to understand that not every business is sexy, right? So sometimes you just have to have fun. Sometimes you just have to get them involved, right? And it's not what's fun to you. It's what's fun to them. A lot of fan page owners, I think they're above messaging individuals. Even if you have, 30 fans on your page, if you're not willing to message those 30, then there's no way that you'll understand what 300 want. There's no way you'll understand what 3,000 want. If you can't work with a small sample, you have to work with you can't work with a larger sample. And I think a lot of times we fail to survey our clientele. They will tell us exactly what they want. In fact, even if you go to your best friend today and you say, hey, what would be the perfect outfit? And you make that, and they'll want it. It's as simple as that, but unfortunately we kind of like to guess. I guess it proves how smart we are. And we do it too, Mark and I. And it's something that we just have to learn to discipline ourselves to do. So education, entertainment, step 3. And then finally expansion. I think a lot of times we go to expansion first. We need fans, we need followers, we need friends. And the problem with that is if we can't get 4 people to listen, there's no way we can get 400 to listen. So I see a lot of pages that have the problem where it's just the owner posting over and over again, and they're like, man, I need more fans. So it's like, no, you need someone's attention. And then you can worry about getting more fans. The key to getting more fans is to be so good or so bad that they have to tell someone else. Because Facebook has kind of hindered you. They've tied your hands behind your back in terms of reaching out to people because they don't want that kind of culture on their site. So the alternative you have is to be more than average. When you look at the internet, it's literally littered by average. There's average content. There's people that write blogs just for keywords, and it's terrible stuff. There's people that just are horrible writers or can't express their message the way they want to. And supply and demand will tell you that when supply is high, demand is low, right? So if the internet is filled with average and you're just providing more average, what's the demand going to be for what you're selling? Nothing, right? But if the internet is filled with average and you deliver great, you're automatically going to get people's attention because you stand out in contrast. And I think that's something that we really need to embrace when we talk about expansion. Don't ask people to tell all their friends. They won't. For two reasons. One, because you haven't earned the right, probably through your content, to get, if you would have earned it, they would have already told them. And then second, telling all your friends is too much work. Understand we're lazy. People are not, they don't want to work that hard. Tell them to tell two friends. Tell two friends seriously, you know, tell them why we should be in. So don't just send a blanket request like all of us do, right? When we have events, we just send it to everyone, whether they live in our city or not. Send two requests and send a message with it and say, here's why you should fan this page, and watch what happens to your counts. They'll start to grow exponentially because you're growing by your people telling. There's a rule in the social space that if I say it, it's a lie because I'm a promoter. But if someone else says it, it's probably true because they're a third party. That's why rumors work so well on the internet. And then if you can get it into print somewhere, it's literally law, and there's nothing you could do about it. Find a way to get your fans to tell people, or even ask them directly to tell other people about your page or about your Twitter account or about your brand, and you'll understand and you'll find way more success that way than you'll find in the way that you're kind of doing it now. So those are the 4 E's of social success. We use them. I promise they work. Give them a shot.